Gavin, tell us about how Parity was founded. Tell us about the early days.
Conceptually, I suppose it began when we'd launched Ethereum, so it was like autumn 2015. It seems odd now, but back then ETH wasn't worth very much. It was down to like 50, 40 cents. And the Ethereum Foundation didn't have any real capital. So Vitalik and I were like, let's try and do something like that maybe can get some investment, that can continue down this path. This was sort of the basis of the initial meeting that we had in London that sort of put down the ideas for ETHCore, for what was to become Parity. Vitalik, after this meeting, at some point after this meeting, a few weeks later, sort of said he didn't want to be founder of the company, but he would be an advisor. We knew that the Ethereum Foundation chapter was sort of coming to a close, and that it made a lot of sense to sort of go off and try and create this like Ethereum sort of spin-off that would be potentially could receive investment, go into products. We focused on building this Rust client as ETHCore. We called the Rust client Parity. We found that as core developers, there's no obvious way of moving forward within the Ethereum ecosystem for us. Around summer 2016, Marek and I were in San Francisco, and we were just sort of discussing because Ethereum hadn't made much of a move towards Ethereum 2, which was what we were all about. So I didn't want to come up with an alternative to ETH2, but then I also didn't want to just sit around, doing the same ETH1 stuff. So I came up with an alternative concept, and that was what was to become Polkadot, which was basically this idea of having not a homogeneously execution sharded chain, but a heterogeneously sharded chain, and really push the idea of these execution shards being their own thing with their own token economies and their own program code and domain specific functionality.